Hey guys, Jonathan Smith. I'm running for your Grant County Sheriff's position. I want to thank the community members and my supporters for watching this video. I kind of wanted my first video to go or be about more of my campaign than the subject tonight, but as it is, I had some, let's say, rude, maybe even malice comment made on one of my posts about me being fired from the Sheriff's Department. I don't know where they got their information from. I'm pretty sure everybody that works around there knows I resigned from that position. And I wouldn't mind telling the whole incident of me resigning, but it kind of drags some other people into it, and I don't think that's probably the best interest for myself, for deputies that still are employed there, or for Lance. It's going to put him in a bad limelight as well. And I kind of took the comment as a temptation to get me into flinging mud, so to speak. That's something I'm not gonna do. I've told my supporters that's not what I'm about. I'm about bringing people together and uniting them. I'm not going to be negative to an extreme, and that's what mud flinging is. And it happens often in politics. I'm not one of those. If you can't get it done without doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. That's just me, but you're not worth a hill of beans if you have to go and go to throwing mud or that sort of thing. So you won't see that from me. At least I'm going to try everything possible not to go there. As I touched on earlier, I'm about uniting. I'm not about dividing. I think too many times in our world, or in our country, or even in our hometown here, there's too much dividing going on, and you get nothing done when you are divided. Power is in numbers, and the stronger we are together, the more we can face together. So we just need to gather together and build a stronger force, a more diverse force, and take on whatever challenges we need to take on to protect our children, protect the community, to serve the community with the community's help. What I want my supporters to do is to spread how we, by setting goals that are positive, by coming up with new ways of serving the community, or by securing the community and community members' possessions. I want my supporters to spread how we're going to do that. We're not going to be about mud throwing or accusations or anything like that. In fact, if one of my supporters had went on to Lance's page, or Lonnie's, or Teresa's, or anybody's page or post and made a rude and just unprofessional statement or comment as that, I would ask them to remove it. If they're supporting me, I want them supporting me in a positive light. That to me is not in a positive light. There's too much of that in our world. We don't need it. It gets nobody anywhere. Sure, it's funny. It is funny. But as you notice, nobody liked the comment. And I let it sit there all day. And I'm going to continue to let it sit there until she politely removes it. You know, that's what I would ask one of my supporters to do. And by the way the comment came across, I believe she's a Lance supporter. So, you know, if that's what he wants his supporters doing, so be it. But that's not what my supporters are going to be about. The differences I want to make in this, or for this community through the Sheriff's Department and our law enforcement agency, those changes came from ideas that I got while I was taking my petition around. People told me their complaints, they told me their concerns, and they've told this to the active administration that's already there. But as they said, their words, not mine, it's not being taken care of. They feel like it's being ignored or just simply laughed at. It's not important enough for their concerns to be taken seriously, so, you know, they've just gotten tired of complaining, of putting their concerns out there. So they let whatever happens happen. And, you know, another thing about this comment is the person seems to be saying that just because a person gets fired, you don't amount to anything after that. I know great people that have been fired from many jobs that grew from that and became very prosperous. They are community members that are providing and not consuming. They are members of groups around the community, and they're very proud of it. And they're not ashamed to say that they were fired. I was not fired. I resigned. But the accusation kind of came across as, you were fired. No, I wasn't. And just because someone is fired doesn't mean that their life comes to an end. Just because a supervisor and an employee doesn't get along or see eye to eye and the job ends, does not mean that person's life ends or that they can't amount to anything. I don't understand. But moving on. The community members are disappointed. Well, actually, I think everyone is disappointed in our leaders. You know, these people get voted in. They tell us these things that they're going to do, and it never happens. And we're supposed to think you're going to stay in there because you're getting the job done. No, that's not the case. Our world today, or voters today, are tired of all the BS. They're tired of the empty lies. They're tired of being told what they want to hear, and you're not going to get that from me. Everything I tell you, I know I can get done. If given the opportunity, I can make that difference. I can achieve these goals I have set. There has not been much in my life that I have not set a goal to and achieved it. That's just the simple facts of it. I have had many jobs in my life. Of course, I'm still young, so. But they've all built me where I'm at. The 5 past sheriffs that I've worked for, I've learned from them. I've taken notes. I know what to do and what not to do. I know how to treat my employees and how not to treat my employees. I know how to get the best from the employee. And that's showing that you care about the employee. That's what I will do. By showing that you care for the employee will return that care to the people of the community who they provide a service for. Without that, you achieve nothing. You can say, hey, nice job. But when you turn around and say something else, how are they supposed to take that? But, you know, getting back to the community members being tired of their leaders. The president, don't even get me started. The state leaders, you can't fund for schooling? Are you kidding me? This is our future we're talking about. And you can't find time to make it the first agenda and get it off the table? You're kidding me, right? You can find all these other slough funds to fund, but you can't fund our kids in our schools. Give me a break. Find me somebody who can. Somebody who wants to. That should be the first priority. You want Kansas to be a laughingstock? Really? Yeah, it's a very touchy subject. But as far as the mud throwing, I'm not going to get into that. But I do have to let the community know, let my supporters know why the changes that I want to implement need to be made. Because things just aren't getting done. And, you know, there's been a large amount of time that this office has been occupied, and not much has been achieved. I mean, sure, he can say he made it better than maybe what the past sheriff had done or what have you. But other than that, really, honestly, what's been done? You know, the year before I resigned, I gained financial funding for their bulletproof vests that they wear now. I gained financial funding for the 800 radios that they have. Not all of them, but the ones that the sheriff needed. I achieved financial funding for the deputy cameras, or the personal cameras that they wear. I gained that. I also gained financial funding for equipment, investigative equipment, that could have never been bought on our budget. I did that as a regular deputy, because I was tired of hearing the pass the buck, it's not in the budget, so we can't have it. No, that's only if you're happy with what you've got, which the bulletproof vests were going to expire, so we needed them anyway. Sure, there was a grant, but it wasn't going to cover the new exterior carriers that they now have. The body-worn cameras, they wasn't going to be in the budget ever. I'm pretty sure. But I seen that this need was there. The community needed it, the deputies needed it, and to get their jobs done, they need to feel secure. Let's wear the vests. It's a liability if they don't. It's better for them if they do. Just maybe, that bullet might be caught by that vest. I hope that never happens here. I hope that it never happens anywhere, but in our world today, we know that's different. We know that officers are being gunned down in the streets, at stoplights. They're being gunned down on calls. They're being set up. And it's all because the community doesn't trust them. It's all because there's been a gap that has eroded over time from lack of trust. We need to build a bridge to connect that gap. We need to get the community and the law enforcement relationship stronger. And the only way you can do that is to trust in the community to help. That's what I'm about. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but it's going to work. And like I said, I'm not going to give up. So please, if you agree with what I have to say, please like the post, share it, whatever. But as far as the mud throwing goes, if you want to see that, if you want to see bashing from one politic to another, turn on the news. You'll see Trump, you'll see Hillary. They'll